chameleons, colorful forest magic in the thickets of the tropical rainforest. There lives a chameleon that can perform magic tricks. Its name is Sisai. Sisai's skin is like a magical palette. It turns emerald green when lying on a green leaf and pink when squatting beside a red fruit. Even her eyes can look around. The lizard mother always says Cai is a little painter in the forest. Her ability to change colors is excellent, and her heart to help others is even warmer. Early in the morning, little Aunt Guago led her team to carry sugar grains, but was blocked by a small ditch. Cai hurriedly climbed over, her body turning brownish with a whoosh like a steady little branch resting on the ditch. Guo, come along with me. The little ants lined up, stepping on Cai's back and passing steadily. Guo waved her antennae and shouted, "Thank you, Cai. Your branch bridge is safer than wooden boards." In the morning, the sun was scorching hot on the ground. Little ladybug Dion couldn't find a shady spot and was lying on a stone, almost suffering from heat stroke. Cai immediately crawled to Dion's side. Her skin gradually turned dark green and she unfolded her body as if holding up a small green umbrella. Dion, come to me quickly. Dion hid in the shadow. The cool breeze instantly invigorated it. Flapping its wings, it said, "Sister Cai, your green umbrella is even more comfortable than the shade of leaves." At noon, the little butterfly's colorful wings were cut by thorns and it hid among the flowers, crying. Cai crept over quietly, her skin turning the color of a pink rose. She gently rolled over a soft petal with her tail and said, "Don't cry. Wrap it up with this." The butterfly wrapped its wound with petals and flew around Cai, saying, "Your invisibility technique is so magical and so gentle. Thank you so much." In the afternoon, the little boy Lely from the neighbor's house came for an adventure and accidentally dropped his telescope into the grass. When Cai saw this, she immediately turned bright yellow and crawled back and forth beside the telescope like a little lantern guiding the way. Lele followed the yellow little signpost to find the telescope and clapped her hands happily. Cai, your color is even more eye-catching than the little flag. You are truly my little helper. In the evening, the sky was overcast with dark clouds, and it was about to rain. Cai noticed that the grass nest of the little cricket Lala was leaking. It quickly climbed to the top of the nest, its skin turning dark brown and sticking tightly to the grass nest, as if it were covered with a small waterproof tile. When the raindrops were pattering down, Lely was singing in her nest. "Cai, your tiles are more effective than leaves. I'm not wet at all." The setting sun dyed the forest an orange red. The friends gathered under the trees, and their colorful skin also turned a warm orange. The little aunt brought sugar grains, the little ladybug offered nectar, and Lele brought delicious insects, Cai. I was chewing on the delicious food, her eyes moving around with a smile. The lizard mother said, CAI's color-changing magic is amazing, but the willingness to share the magic's intention is the best magic. A sweet and interesting record of a pond with golden red goldfish in the clear pond. There is a shiny red goldfish swimming. Its name is Jinjin. The scales of Jinjin are like red silk sprinkled with gold powder, and its tail is like a small fan spread out. When it swims, it swings back and forth, leaving red water ripples. The mother fish always says Jinjin is the little lucky star in the pond. It has a bright appearance and a warm heart. That early morning, little shrimp Meng Meng got her whiskers entangled by water plants and was so anxious that she was flapping around. When Jinjin saw this, she swam over quickly, gently pushed aside the water plants with her nimble tail, and said softly, Meng Meng, don't worry, I'll help you. Meng Meng broke free from the water plants and swam twice with Jinjin. Thank you, Jinjin. Your tail is more dexterous than a pair of scissors. It saved me. In the morning, the sun shone through the water surface. Little field snail Lely wanted to climb onto a warm rock to bask in the sun, but its shell was too heavy and it climbed slowly. Jinjin, holding Lele's shell on her head, slowly pushed it towards the stone. Lele, let me give you a push. Lele climbed onto the rock smoothly and basked in the sun comfortably, saying, Thank you, Jinjin. Your strength is even greater than that of a small cart. The sun is so warm. At noon, the little tadpoles in the pond couldn't find their mother and were circling around in the water. Jinjin remembered the lotus leaf area where the frog mother often stayed. She quickly led the little tadpoles to swim there and would turn back from time to time to shout, Follow me. I'll help you find your mother. When the frog mother saw her children, she waved her legs at Jinjin and said, Thank you, Jinjin. You are such a reliable little guide. In the afternoon, the little girl Duadua from the neighbor's house came to the pond to feed the fish. As soon as she saw the bright red Jinjin, her eyes lit up. Wow, this goldfish is so beautiful, like a little red lantern. Duaduo gently scattered fish food. Jinjin swam over, ate slowly, and even wagged her tail at Duaduo as if saying, Thank you for the delicious food. In the evening, dark clouds drifted from the sky and it seemed that it was about to rain. Jinjin remembered the little crab Bibi hiding under the lotus leaf. Its little nest was prone to water accumulation. Jinjin quickly stirred the water with her tail to help. Bibi drained the water from the nest and also found small stones to raise the bottom of the nest. When the raindrops tick-tock fell, Bibi's bed was extremely dry. She smiled and said, Thank you, Jinjin. You're more effective than a small umbrella. I haven't got damp at all. The setting sun dyed the pond a warm red. The friends gathered around Jinjin and held a small sharing session. The little shrimp brought fresh plankton, the little field snail shared algae, and Duodwo brought sweet fish food. Jinjin swam in the middle, its red scales shining in the setting sun. It said, I'm the happiest to be able to help everyone. Mother Fish smiled and said, Jinjin's red scales are beautiful, but her helpful heart is even more precious. When the moon rises, its moonlight spills over the pond. The golden red scales reflect the moonlight as if sprinkled with a layer of silver powder. Because of the red goldfish Jinjin, this small pond has become more lively and warmer. Such days are more pleasant than sweet fish food and more dazzling than the bright red scales. The strong marine guardian story of the blue whale in the vast blue ocean. There swims a huge blue whale. Its name is Zhuangguoshuang. Zhuangguoshuang's body is like a big blue ship. His skin is smooth, and there is a faint pattern on his back. His tail is as wide as two big fans. When he swims, it makes a splash-splash sound, creating gentle water splashes. The dolphin mother always says, Duongguang is a big, warm-hearted man in the ocean. Though he is big, his heart is softer than the waves. In the early morning, the school of small sardines was chased by fierce tuna and was in a panic and chaos. When Zhuangguang heard the cries for help, he swam over quickly and shielded his huge body between the fish and the tuna like a deep blue protective wall. The tuna dared not approach and swished its tail, swimming away. The little sardines circled around Zhuangguang. Thank you, Zhuangguang. Your body is more reliable than a reef. In the morning, the little turtle Tao Tao got lost and was circling around on the sea surface with a heavy shell on its back. Zhuangguang gently lifted Tao Tao with his dorsal fin and let it stand on his broad back. Tao Tao, don't be afraid. I'll take you to find a home. Zhuangguang swam steadily, while Tao Tao stood on the big ship and looked out. Soon they found the familiar island. Tao Tao patted Zhuangguang on the back and said, Brother Zhuangguang, your back is even more stable than a small boat. Thank you so much. At noon, the little jellyfish Jingjing got her tentacles entangled by seaweed and couldn't swim. Zhuangguoshuang swam slowly over, carefully pushing aside the seaweed with his long whiskers, and gently blew up water splashes to help Jingjing straighten out her tentacles. Jingjing spread out her transparent skirt and danced beside Zhuangguoshuang. Thank you, Zhuangguang. Your beard is more dexterous than small scissors. I can dance again. In the afternoon, a small storm suddenly blew at the bottom of the sea, and the sand and gravel confused the eyes of the little seahorse. Dion Guang Guang quickly swam to Dion's side, gently spat out water with his mouth to rinse Dion's eyes, and also asked Dion to hide under his fin to avoid the wind. After the storm passed, Dion wagged her little tail and said, Duangguang, your water flow is more comfortable than a clear spring. I feel so at ease with you around. In the evening, Duo, a little girl who came to play by the seaside, dropped her beloved shell toy into the sea. She was lying on the reef, so anxious that she was on the verge of crying. Zhuangguang saw it, gently held the shell in his mouth, slowly swam to the shore, and placed the shell in front of Duodwa. Duodwa held the shell in her hands and stroked Zhuangguang's back that was exposed above the water. Zhuangguang, you are such a gentle big friend. I like you so much. The setting sun dyed the sea surface a golden red. The marine friends surrounded Zhuangshuang sardines, brought fresh plankton, turtles brought smooth pebbles, and Zhuodwo brought sweet dried fish. Zhuangguang sprayed high-water droplets as if clapping his hands, feeling warm in his heart. Because of the blue whale Zhuangguang, this blue ocean has become warmer and more lively. Even the waves are singing happy songs. The heartwarming grassland song by the twin sisters on the grassland moistened by morning dew. Two flowers are blooming closely together. They are a pair of good sisters. The pink ones are called jiao. Their petals are soft like cotton candy and they have a sweet fragrance. The yellow one is called yang. Its petals are straight like little suns and its color is bright. Mother butterfly always says jiao jiao and yang yang are the two treasures of the grassland. When they get together, they can spread warmth further. Early in the morning, little Aunt Guago was holding up biscuit crumbs and was stumped by a small soil slope. Jiao quickly bent down the flower stems to form a gentle petal slope, while Yang spread the petals even wider, illuminating the path with sunlight. Guo climb up along the light. Guo, stepping on the delicate petals, steadily climbed to the top and waved her antennae to express her gratitude. Thank you, Sister Shuanghua. Your love channel is both stable and bright. In the morning, the sun was so scorching that the little ladybug was panting heavily. Yang immediately unrolled its golden petals to block out the dazzling sunlight, while Jiao let the morning dew drip down the petals and land in front of Diandian. Drink some water to cool off quickly. Dion licked the sweet dew and hid under the canopy of Shuanghua, flapping her wings and saying, "You two act as an umbrella and bring water together. You are even more considerate than a big tree." At noon, the little butterfly's colorful wings got stained with mud and landed pitifully on the delicate petals. Jiao used the soft petals to help her wipe the mud, while Yang swayed the flower tray to attract the wind and dried Sai's wings. Don't worry, we'll be able to fly soon. Cai flapped her clean wings and flew around Shuanghua 3 times. You two cooperate so well. I can do the circle dance again. In the afternoon, dark clouds drifted over, indicating that it was going to rain. Jiao and Yang quickly discussed countermeasures. Jiao gathered the petals like a little cradle, while Yang bent the flower stems over Jiao, forming a double flower umbrella. The little cricket lily, hiding inside, sang peacefully. The umbrella of the twin flower sisters is so sturdy. It's much more reliable than leaves. In the evening, the little girl Duadwo came to pick flowers. Seeing the two flowers closely hugging each other, she smiled and said, "You two look so beautiful together." She didn't pick the flowers. Instead, she found some small stones to help them build a small fence and watered them. Jiao and Yang swayed the petals, sending the most intense fragrance over, as if saying thank you. The setting sun dyed the grassland orange red. All the friends gathered around. Ants brought sugar grains, ladybugs offered nectar, and Duodwo placed the double flower picture she had drawn beside them. The delicate sweet fragrance and the bright golden light blend together. When the wind blows, it's like singing a heartwarming song. Mother Butterfly said, "The color of two flowers is beautiful, but the heart of sisters working together to help each other is the most beautiful scenery." The warm and fun notes of the little squirrel song in the forest. On a big tree in the pine forest lived a fluffy little squirrel. Its name was Song. Song's fur is brownish red, as if wrapped in a layer of warm sunlight. Its tail is fluffy like a big velvet flower. When it runs, its tail swings back and forth. When climbing trees, it holds on to the pine cones firmly. It also hides pine cones in tree holes. The mother squirrel always says Song is the little smart one in the forest. It has quick hands and feet, and a particularly warm heart. In the early morning, little hedgehog Kuki was spinning round anxiously under the tree. It wanted to pick the wild fruits on the tree, but could not reach them. Song poked his head out from a branch and wagged his big tail, saying, "Kuki, don't worry, I'll help you." It nimbly climbed up the treetops, picked a few bright red wild fruits, and gently rolled them down with its tail. Kuki held a wild fruit and took a bite, the sweet juice flowing out. "Thank you. Your tail is better than a small basket, and wild fruits are sweeter than honey." In the morning, the sun was rising higher and higher. Little Ant Guago led a group to carry cookie crumbs and was panting on a stone from the scorching sun. Song quickly jumped down and spread out her fluffy big tail, as if holding up a small brownish-red canopy. "Little ants, come and hide from the sun." The ants crawled into the shadow of the tail. The cool breeze carried the fragrance of pine wood. Guaguo waved its antennae and said, "Brother Song, your tail is even more comfortable than the shade of a big tree. The wind is fragrant." At noon, the colorful wings of the little butterfly were stuck by the spider web, and it flapped its wings in a hurry. When Song saw this, she tiptoed over and carefully picked through the spider web with her slender claws. She also found a clean leaf to help Cai wipe her wings. Cai flapped her wings and finally was able to fly. She circled around Song 3 times. "Thank you, Song. Your claws are more dexterous than small tweezers. I can dance again." In the afternoon, dark clouds drifted over the sky, and it seemed that it was about to rain. Song thought of the little cricket Lely, which lived in a pile of withered grass. Its little nest was unobstructed. Song quickly picked up a few big leaves, rolled them up with its tail, and sent them to Lele's nest, helping it build a small rain shelter. When the raindrops tick-tock fell, Lely was singing in the shed, smiling and saying, "Song, your tail is even more capable than a trolley. I haven't got wet at all." In the evening, the little girl Duodwo from the neighbor's house came to play in the forest and accidentally got lost. Song quickly ran ahead, using his big tail to guide the way, and from time to time stopped to make a few squeaks. Duardo followed Song Song and soon walked out of the forest. She stroked Song Song's big tail and said, "Song Song, your tail is so soft and warm. It's also the best signpost. Thank you so much." The setting sun dyed the forest a golden red. The friends gathered under the pine trees and held a small sharing session. Cookie brought wild fruits, Guago brought cookie crumbs, and Duadua brought sweet nuts. Song Song was munching on the nuts with relish, her big tail resting on her lap, feeling warm in her heart. Because of the little squirrel Song Song, this small forest has become more lively and warmer. Even the fragrance of pine cones is wafting in the wind. The forest-weaving diary of little spider Sissy. On a big branch by the grass lived a dexterous little spider named Sissy. Sissy's body is plump and round, wearing a little coat with a black background and white spots. Her 8 slender legs are flexible and powerful. The silk thread she spits out is shiny and tough. She weaves a net like a little tailor. Mother Bee always says Sissy is a skilled craftsman in the forest. She is not only good at weaving nets, but also has a particularly kind heart. One early morning, little Aunt Guago and her friends were carrying breadcrumbs when they were blocked by a small stream halfway. The stream trickled along, and the ants couldn't cross it, pacing around in anxiety. Sissy saw this and quickly climbed onto the branches on both sides of the stream, spinning out shiny silk threads and quickly weaving a thin silk thread bridge. "Guago, come along my bridge." The little ants lined up and walked steadily along the silk thread across the stream. Guago waved her antennae and said, "Thank you, Sissy. Your silk thread is even more stable than a small plank." What a life-saving little bridge. In the morning, as the sun gradually rose higher, the little ladybug Dion got lost in the grass and couldn't find its way home. Sissy remembered that her net could sense movement and stillness. So she quickly wove a larger net among the branches, allowing the silk threads to reflect sunlight like a small signal flag. Dion followed the light to find Cece and happily flapped her wings. "Thank you, Cece, your net is more effective than a signpost. I've finally found my way." At noon, the wings of the little butterfly, Colorful, were accidentally caught by thorns, leaving a small gash. Sissy quickly spat out soft silk threads, like thin bandages, and carefully bandaged Cai's wound. "Don't move around. It won't hurt anymore." Tisai tried flapping her wings and felt much better. She flew around Cece twice and said, "Thank you, Cece. Your silk thread is softer than cotton, and your craftsmanship is better than that of a little doctor." In the afternoon, dark clouds drifted over the sky, and it seemed that it was about to rain. Cece thought of the little cricket lily living under the leaves. Its little nest was unobstructed. Sissy quickly wove a dense silk thread umbrella on the top of Lele's nest. The raindrops fell on it and flowed down along the silk threads, not getting any water into the nest at all. When the raindrops tick-tock fell, Lely was singing in her nest, Thank you, Sissy. Your umbrella works better than leaves. I didn't get wet at all. In the evening, the little girl Duwadwo from the neighbor's house came to play in the forest. Seeing the shiny net on the branch, she couldn't help exclaiming, "Wow! This net is so beautiful, like a scarf scattered with stars." Duwadwo gently squatted down, not touching Sissy's net, but just whispered a greeting to it. Sissy shook her 8 calves and spat out another thin thread, as if waving and greeting Duwadwo. The setting sun dyed the forest an orange-red. The friends gathered under Sissy's tree and held a small sharing session. The little aunt brought breadcrumbs, the little ladybug shared nectar, and Duwadwo brought sweet dew. They also helped Sissy clean up the small fallen leaves on the net. Sissy lay in the center of the net. The shiny silk thread was shining gently in the setting sun. It said, "I'm the happiest when I can help everyone with my silk thread." Mother Bee smiled and said, "The silk thread is very tough, but a heart that is willing to help others is even more precious." When the moon rose, the silk net was still hanging on the branches, like a little silver cradle. Because of the little spider silk, this small forest has become more reassuring and warmer. Even the evening breeze carries the soft light of the silk thread, making people feel happier than a shiny web. A sweet record of the sea of pink cherry blossoms in Grandpa's cherry orchard. There is a patch of pink cherry trees. On the branches there are clusters of plump cherries. Among them, the most pink and tender one, Grandpa named it Tao Tao. Tao Tao is like a tiny pink gem dressed in a coat of pinkish white with a tinge of red. Its skin is as smooth as if smeared with a layer of honey and has a faint luster. On its head is a thin green handle that gently swaying in the wind, like a small bell hanging on a branch. Its flesh is soft. Take a bite and you'll find sweet juice mixed with a hint of sourness, which can sweeten your taste from the tip of your tongue to your heart. Grandpa always says Tauto is like a little pink ball in the garden. After getting enough sun exposure, it grows into the sweetest shape. That early morning, the little butterfly flower had been flying in the cherry orchard for half a day. Its wings almost unable to flap, it was so thirsty that it couldn't find any clean dew. Hua Hua landed on a branch beside Tao Tao, smelled the sweet fruit fragrance, and flapped her wings at Tao Tao, saying, little cherry, could you lend me some sweet water to drink?" Tao Tao quickly shook her body, allowing the morning dew on the flesh to drip down and land right in front of Hua. Hua, don't worry. Drinking the morning dew won't make you thirsty anymore. Hua leaned over and licked it. The sweet dew quenched her thirst at once. She flapped her wings and flew around once. "Thank you, Tao Tao. Your dew is sweeter than nectar. I finally have the strength." In the morning, the sun gradually rose higher. The little snail in the garden crawled slowly and listlessly, wanting to find a shady place to rest for a while. It climbed up to the green stem of the peach and found that the flesh of the peach was blocking the dazzling sunlight. It quickly lay down on the branch. Wow, it's so cool and fragrant here. Tao Tao gently swayed, making the shadow cover tighter and asking Grandpa to water it a little, bringing a touch of coolness to Meng Meng. Slowly and comfortably, he sighed, "Thank you, Tao Tao. Your shadow is more comfortable than leaves. I'm not afraid of the sun anymore." At noon, Duarduo, a little girl from the neighbor's house, came to the garden to help her grandpa pick cherries. As soon as she looked up, she saw Tao Tao on the branch and her eyes lit up immediately. "Grandpa, this cherry is so pink, like a little face. It's so beautiful." Grandpa smiled and picked Tao Tao, washed it clean with clear water, and handed it to Duodru, saying, "Freshly picked cherries are the sweetest. Have a taste quickly." Duodru took a small bite. The soft flesh melted in her mouth, and sweet juice trickled down the corner of her mouth. She quickly wiped it and said with a smile, "It's so sweet. Peaches are sweeter than candies. I'm going to take a few for my good friend Lely." In the afternoon, dark clouds suddenly drifted from the sky, and it seemed that it was about to rain. Tao Tao remembered the little ant Guago living beside the tree roots. Their hole was unobstructed. Tao Tao quickly asked her grandpa to pick the leaves of the big cherry beside her and cover them with the anthole. The leaves were big and green, just right to keep off the rain. When the raindrops pattered down, Guagu poked his head out from under the leaves and waved his antennae at Tao Tao, saying, "Thank you, Tao Tao. Your leaves are more effective than a small umbrella. The hole isn't wet at all." In the evening, the setting sun dyed the cherry orchard orange-red. Grandma washed Tao Tao and other cherries clean. Some of them were made into cherry pudding, and some were placed on a plate as dessert. Duardway and Lely were gathered around the dining table, taking one bite after another, their mouths filled with sweet flavors. Lely said while eating, "This is the most delicious cherry I've ever eaten. The pink peach is the sweetest." Grandpa smiled and said, "Sharing doubles the sweetness. It's the happiest when we all eat together." When the moon rose, Duardwa washed Tao Tao seeds clean and put them in a small plate. She wanted to plant the seeds in a flower pot and wait for a cherry tree to grow next year. Lying on the bed, she recalled Tao Tao's chubby appearance and sweet taste, and gradually fell asleep. Because of Tao Tao, this small cherry orchard has become sweet and warm. Such days are more beautiful than the soft flesh of the cherries and more adorable than their tender pink coats. The sweet and sour memory of the lemon's golden sunlight on my grandfather's balcony. There is a lush lemon tree. Several oval-shaped lemons are hanging on its branches. Among them, the most yellow and vigorous one, my grandfather named it Huang Huang. Huang Huang was dressed in a bright, pale yellow coat, like a tiny sun. The skin had fine, uneven patterns and felt a bit rough to the touch. When she got close to smell it, a fresh, sour smell mixed with the fragrance of fruits wafted straight into her nose. Its fruit stalks are green and hang steadily on the branches. When the wind blows, they sway gently. Even bees can't help but circle around it. Grandpa always says, Huang Huang is the little sun on the balcony. After getting enough sunlight, it's refreshing, sour, and gentle sweet. That early morning, little butterfly CA was dozing off on the petals. She was so tired from gathering honey last night that she didn't even bother to flap her wings. Sai smelled the refreshing fragrance on Huang Huang and woke up immediately. She flapped her wings at Huang Huang and said, "Little lemon, your scent is so refreshing." Huang Huang quickly shook his body to let the fragrance spread further. "Tizzy, wake up quickly. My scent can help you regain your strength." Cai moved close to Huang Huang, took a deep breath, and the fresh fragrance immediately dispelled her drowsiness. She flapped her wings and flew around once. "Thank you, Huang Huang. Your fragrance is more effective than dew. I have the energy to gather honey now." In the morning, as the sun gradually rose, the little Aunt Dion on the balcony, along with her friends, carried sugar grains. After walking just a few steps, they were already panting for breath due to the heat. They saw the yellow shadow fall on the edge of the flower pot like a small mat and quickly climbed over. "Wow, it's so cool here and there's a pleasant fragrance." Huang Huang steadily on the branch, allowing the shadow to always cover the dots. The dots lay in the cool shadow and sighed comfortably. "Thank you, Huang Huang, your shadow is cooler than leaves. We are no longer afraid of the sun." At noon, the little girl Duarduo from the neighbor's house came to play at her grandpa's. As soon as she saw Wang Wang on the balcony, her eyes lit up. "Grandpa, this lemon is so yellow, like a little sun, and it smells so good." Grandpa smiled and picked the yellow lemon off, wiped it clean, and handed it to Duarduo, saying, "The freshly ripened lemon is the freshest. When I make lemonade later, add a spoonful of honey and it will be especially delicious." Duarduo carefully held Wang Huang in her hands, inhaled the faint fragrance, and said with a smile, "I am going to make it with my grandpa so that my parents can also taste the flavor of this little sun." In the afternoon, the sky was a bit stuffy. Grandpa wanted to make a refreshing lemonade, but after searching for a long time, he felt that it lacked a bit of the natural fruity aroma. Duarduo thought of Huang Wang and quickly said, "Grandpa, use Huang Wang. It's sour. It's sure to make the water refreshing." Grandpa nodded, cut Huang Huang into thin slices, put them in a cup, added warm water and honey, stirred a few times, and a cup of sweet and sour lemon water was ready. Mum took a sip and her eyes lit up. "So refreshing. Thanks to Huang Huang, even the sweltering afternoon has become comfortable." In the evening, the setting sun dyed the balcony orange red. Grandma cut the remaining lemons into small cubes and cooked them with rock sugar to make lemon jam. She spread it on the bread, which was sweet and sour. Duarduo and her grandparents were gathered around the dining table, eating lemon sauce bread, taking bites one after another, chatting very happily. Duarduo took a bite of the bread and said with a smile, "Huang Huang is so amazing. It can be made into both lemonade and jam, and it's so sour that it's not astringent at all." Grandpa smiled and said, "Lemons may look small, but they have many uses. Sharing their sweet and sour taste can make everyone happy." When the moon rose, Duadwar washed the yellow lemon peels clean, dried them in the sun, and strung them into small sachets, which she hung in front of her desk. Lying on the bed, she inhaled the faint fragrance of lemon peel and gradually fell asleep. In her dream, on the balcony, Huang Huang was still hanging on the branch, like a little sun, giving off a fresh aroma. Because of Huang Huang, this small balcony has become refreshing and sweet and sour. Such days are more refreshing than iced lemonade and warmer than a light yellow coat. The Vegetable Garden Guardian Story of Eggplant Zai Zai in Grandma's Vegetable Garden. There is a lush green eggplant plant with plump eggplants hanging on it. Among them, the one that is the most purple and brightest is named Zai Zai by Grandma. Zai Zai was dressed in a shiny deep purple coat, like a round purple pearl. Her skin was so smooth that it could reflect the shadow of leaves. Her shape was chubby and slightly curved, like a tiny crescent moon. Its stems are slender, with a few large emerald green leaves on top. When the wind blows, they sway gently. Even the ladybugs passing by can't help but land on the leaves. Grandma always says, "Zizzy is a little gentleman in the vegetable garden. It hangs steadily on the seedlings." When it's ripe, it's delicious, whether stir-fried. One early morning, little Aunt Guagu and her friends were carrying cookie crumbs. When they reached the middle of the vegetable garden, they got lost. The green leaves around were so thick that they couldn't tell the direction. Guago looked up and saw Zai Zai on the rice seedlings. Her deep purple coat stood out particularly among the green leaves. She quickly called out to her friends, "Look, that purple eggplant is like a small flag. We can go home by following it." Zai Zai hung steadily on the rice seedlings, like a loyal little guide. Guogo followed Zai Zai's direction and indeed found their way home very quickly. Guogo waved her antennae at Zizzy and said, "Thank you, Zizzy. Your color is brighter than a little lantern. We'll never get lost again." In the morning, as the sun rose slowly, the vegetable garden became warm. The little snail crawled slowly, sweating all over its head. It wanted to find a shady place to rest for a while, but the other leaves were all too narrow. It climbed under the big purple leaves and suddenly felt much cooler. The emerald green leaves were like a big green umbrella, just right to block the sunlight. Slowly lying on the soil, he shook his antennae at Zai Zai and said, "Zai Zai, Zai Zai, Zai Zai, your big green umbrella is so comfortable. It's cooler than petals. I'm not afraid of the sun anymore." Zai Zai gently shook the leaves, making the shadow cover tighter and gradually blocking the dazzling sunlight. At noon, Duadwo, a little girl from the neighbor's house, came to the vegetable garden to help her grandma pick vegetables. As soon as she saw Zai Zai on the rice seedlings, her eyes lit up. "Grandma, this eggplant is so purple, like a purple pearl. It's so beautiful." Grandma smiled and picked Zizzy, wiped it clean and handed it to Duwadbu, saying, "Freshly picked eggplants are the tenderest." When I make braised eggplant later, you'll surely love it. Duodwo carefully held Zizzy in her hands, touched the smooth coat, and said with a smile, I want to watch Grandma make it so that Mum and Dad can also taste the flavor of this purple pearl. In the afternoon, dark clouds suddenly drifted from the sky, and it seemed that it was about to rain. Zai Zai saw of the little ladybug Dion living under the eggplant vines. Its back shell was a bit thin and it was afraid of getting wet by the rain. Zizzy quickly asked her grandma to pick the big leaves beside her and cover them with Dion's little nest. The leaves were big and thick, just right to keep out the rain. When the raindrops pattered down, Dion poked his head out from under the leaves and shook the spot at Zai Zai, saying, Thank you, Zai Zai. Your leaves are more useful than my shell. I didn't get wet at all. Zai Zai lay in the bamboo basket, watching the raindrops hitting the vegetable leaves, feeling sweet in her heart. In the evening, the setting sun dyed the vegetable garden orange-red. Grandma cut Zai Zai into oblique pieces and made braised eggplant together with minced garlic and broad bean paste. In no time, the rich aroma filled the kitchen. Duodwo and her parents gathered around the dining table, looking at the shiny and soft braised eggplant. They couldn't wait to take a bite. It was salty and fragrant, not at all greasy. Dad said while eating, This is the most delicious braised eggplant I've ever eaten. Thanks to Zizzy, the meat is tender and flavorful. Grandma smiled and said, Eggplants may look ordinary, but they have many uses. Growing quietly and sharing them with everyone is the best. When the moon rose, Duodwa washed the seeds of Zai Zai clean and put them in a small plate. She wanted to plant the seeds in a flower pot and wait for eggplant seedlings to grow next year. She lay on the bed, thinking of today's braised eggplant, and it seemed as if she could still smell that rich aroma. The room was quiet, with only the sound of the evening breeze brushing past the window. Because of Zai Zai, this small vegetable garden became full of vitality and fragrant. Such days were more beautiful than the soft and glutinous flesh of eggplants, and more dazzling than their bright purple coats. The pomegranate red and red fruit plate is a sweet record in Grandma's yard. There grows a pomegranate tree with luxuriant foliage. On its branches hang round pomegranates. Among them, the reddest and plumpest one is named Hong Hong by Grandma. Hong Hong was dressed in a bright red coat, like a tiny red lantern. Its skin had fine lines and felt a bit rough, but very sturdy. At the top, there was a small crown that swayed gently in the wind. Even butterflies couldn't help but circle around it. Grandma always said, Hong Hong is the little treasure of the yard. There are many sweet red pearls hidden in its belly. That early morning, the little bee hummed back from gathering nectar, so exhausted that it could hardly flap its wings. It landed on a branch beside Hong Hong, smelled a faint, fruity fragrance, and immediately perked up. It flapped its wings at Hong Hong and said, Pomegranate, pomegranate, your scent is so unique. Hong Hong quickly shook her body to let the aroma spread further. Buzz, take a break. My flesh is so sweet. I'll let you taste it later. Buzzing moved close to Hong Hong, took a deep breath, and the fresh fragrance dispelled its fatigue. Flapping its wings, it said, "Thank you, Hong Hong. Your fragrance is more refreshing than nectar." In the morning, the sun was slowly rising. Little Aunt Guagu and her friends were looking for food. They walked for a long time, but couldn't find it. Seeing their red and bulging bellies, they curiously climbed up the branches and asked, could there be something delicious hidden inside? Just then, Grandma came to pick pomegranates and said with a smile, "Red and ripe. Let's open them together and have a look." Grandma gently peeled off the red coat, revealing a series of crystal-clear red seeds inside, as if a handful of red pearls had been scattered, with sweet juice dripping down the seeds. The fruits quickly climbed over, picked up a red seed and licked it. The sweet taste made them cheer. "Thank you, Hong Hong. Your seeds are sweeter than candies." At noon, the little girl Duwadwo from the neighbor's house came to play at her grandma's. As soon as she saw the peeled red, her eyes lit up. "Grandma, these pomegranate seeds are so red, like red pearls. They are so beautiful." Grandma put the red seeds into a small plate and handed it to Duwadwa, saying, "The freshly picked pomegranates are the sweetest. Have a taste quickly." Duwadwa picked up one and put it in her mouth. The sweet juice spread in her mouth. She smiled and said, "It's so sweet. Red is sweeter than honey. I'm going to take some for my parents to taste." In the afternoon, dark clouds drifted over the sky, and it seemed that it was about to rain. Hong Hong remembered the little ladybug Diandian living beside the tree root. Its little nest had no cover. Hong Hong quickly asked her grandma to put the peeled coat on Diandian's nest. The pomegranate peel was thick and firm, just right to keep off the rain. When the raindrops tick-tock fell, the dots poked their heads out from beneath the skin and waved at Hong Hong, saying, "Thank you, Hong Hong. Your coat is more useful than a small umbrella." In the evening, the setting sun dyed the courtyard orange red. Grandma mixed pomegranate seeds with yogurt to make a sweet pomegranate yogurt cup. Duwadwo and her parents were gathered around the dining table, taking one bite after another, eating very happily. Dad said while eating, "This yogurt cup is so delicious. Thanks to Hong Hong, it's just right sweet." Grandma smiled and said, "Although pomegranate seeds are small, they are very sweet when gathered together. When everyone shares them, happiness will also increase." When the moon rose, Duwadwa washed the red pomegranate shells clean and made them into small storage boxes to hold her little beads. Lying on the bed, she recalled the red seeds and their sweet taste and gradually fell asleep. Because of Hong Hong, this small courtyard has become sweet and warm. Such days are sweeter than pomegranate seeds and more eye-catching than the bright red coat. A sweet dream under the vine of purple grape skewers in Grandpa's yard. There are lush green grapevines with clusters of plump purple grapes hanging on them. Among them, the one that is the most purple and brightest, Grandpa named it Chuan Chuan. The string is like a string of small purple pearls, each one round and plump, wearing a purple and lustrous coat, covered with a thin layer of white frost, as if sprinkled with a handful of sugar. It feels smooth to the touch, and a gentle pinch can make you feel the sweet juice. Its vines are soft and twine around the trellis as they climb up. When the wind blows, they sway gently, as if dancing a sweet dance. Grandpa always says the skewers are the little sugar strings on the vine. After getting enough sun exposure, all the sweetness is hidden in the flesh. That early morning, the little sparrow chirped and flew for a long time looking for food. Its stomach growled with hunger, but it only found a few dry and hard grass seeds. Shu landed on the grapevine and smelled the sweet fragrance on the bunch of grapes. His eyes lit up at once, but he dared not approach, fearing to knock off this beautiful bunch of grapes. Chuan quickly shook her body, bringing the bottom grape closer to Shu. Shu, don't be afraid. Taste my flesh. Grandpa happened to come and pick grapes. Seeing Juju, he gently plucked the bunches and broke off one to place on the branch. Shu pecked a small mouthful, and the sweet and sour juice spread in his mouth. He immediately flapped his wings and cheered, "Thank you, Chuan. Your flesh is sweeter than nectar. I'm finally not hungry." In the morning, the sun was getting brighter and brighter. The little caterpillar on the vine crawled feebly and listlessly. It chewed on the leaves for a long time, but still found them tasteless. Chuan let the vines beside him gently hang down and placed the most ripe grape in front of Ruin, saying, Ruin, eat it quickly. This one is the sweetest. Soft climbed onto the grape, taking small bites of the pulp. After finishing, she crawled around on the vine, as if expressing her gratitude. "Thank you, Chuan. Your flesh is even more delicious than your leaves. I can climb faster now." At noon, the little girl Duadwo from the neighbor's house came to play at her grandpa's. As soon as she entered the door, she was attracted by the skewers on the vine. "Grandpa, this bunch of grapes is so purple, like little purple beads. It must be extremely sweet." Grandpa smiled and picked the skewers, washed them clean and placed them on a plate. Duadua didn't want to eat it right away and whispered to Chuan, "You are so beautiful. I want to share it with my good friend Let." She carefully held the plate, carried the skewers to the vine, and ate them one by one with her grandpa. The sweet and sour juice made Duadu smile so hard that she narrowed her eyes. In the afternoon, dark clouds drifted over the sky, and it seemed that it was about to rain. Chuan thought of the little ant Guagu living under the vine. Their whole entrance was unobstructed. Chuan quickly asked her grandpa to put the leftover grape skins beside the anthole. The grape skins were big and soft, just right to keep off the rain. When the raindrops tick-tock fell, Guagua poked his head out from under the grape skin and waved his tentacles at Chuan. "Thank you, Chuan. Your grape skins are more effective than a small umbrella. The hole isn't wet at all." In the evening, the setting sun dyed the courtyard orange red. Grandma washed the remaining grapes clean, made sweet grape sauce, and added a little honey. Duadwo and Lely were gathered around the dining table, spreading grape sauce on the bread. They took one bite after another, their mouths filled with sweetness. Lely said while eating, "This is the most delicious jam I've ever eaten. It's all because of the skewers." Grandpa smiled and said, "Sharing brings more sweetness. It's the happiest when we all eat together." When the moon rose, Duwadwa washed the bunches of grape seeds clean and placed them in small plates. She wanted to plant the seeds in flower pots and wait for new grapevines to grow next year. Lying on the bed, she recalled the purple and lustrous appearance of the strings and their sweet and sour taste, and gradually fell asleep. Because of the skewers, this small courtyard has become sweet and warm. Such days are more wonderful than the sweet and sour flesh of grapes, and more eye-catching than the purple and lustrous coat.